So David, you've been around businesses many years now and copywriting. Can you tell me why so many businesses get it wrong in their sales letters, their adverts and their web copy?
Yes, there's a very good reason why businesses get it wrong as far as web copy and as far as advertisements and or advertising and indeed sales letters is concerned, and that is very simply image and branding.
Okay, could you tell me a little bit more then? Take for example an advert. How should a business write an advert?
Well, let's have a look at the way many businesses currently write them. They tend to look at what the big boys are doing, the big companies are doing, which is very much image or institutional advertising, and they think that, well, this must be the way to be successful, because that's what they're doing. And they also look around their own industries and other businesses that perhaps sell similar or complementary things to what they do, and they see that they're all doing it as well. So they think, well, that must be right. And in many ways it's the blind leading the blind, because it isn't right. The problem is with it is that brand and image advertising might be good for larger companies that are looking to maintain a brand, such as a car or an expensive watch or whatever, but it's no good for the average SME that is out there who is really trying to get sales. Now they confuse image, branding, institutional advertising with the way to get sales, and it isn't. What we're really talking about here, the kind of advertising and marketing they ought to be doing, is what we call direct response.
Okay, could you expand on that? I mean, how do you recognise a direct response ad? Or how do you go about writing a direct response ad?
A direct response ad has got to be aimed at the target that you are seeking to attract into your business to buy or purchase from you. And that means that understanding who your customer is, having a profile on them, knowing the kinds of answers to the kinds of questions like where do they live, what do they read, where do their kids go to school, what sort of income do they have. In other words, knowing who your customers are and then targeting them and ensuring that in your headline you've got a reference to that target market. That headline could be in the ad, or it could be in it could be at the top of the sales letter that's going out, or indeed at the top of the website. So a direct reference to your target market. Now, furthermore, it's necessary to understand that a headline is nothing more, as somebody once famously said, is nothing more than the ad for the ad. So a good headline. Now, many businesses think that putting their name at the top or their logo is somehow a headline. Well, the fact is, nobody cares. When they see J.P. Smith Plumber at the top, nobody cares. They might see plumber and think, well, I need one of those, but nobody cares about the name. What they really, what people are really looking for when they are looking for, say, a plumber, is something that references them saying, leaky taps, overflowing toilets, whatever it is, that relates then to their problem. So that the headline should always be, as we said before, the ad for the ad. It should have a big, bold benefit in there, not a feature, and that's a different subject, but a big, bold benefit. And it should be aimed at the target that you're looking for. The other parts of, in particular, say, an ad, is to ensure that you follow an age-old formula that we call AIDA. That's attention, interest, desire or detail, and action. Nowadays, we put in a fifth letter into this acronym, which is C, and it becomes AIDA. So that's attention, interest, credibility, then desire and detail, and action. Now, by following this age-old formula, you're pretty much guaranteed success. Certainly, you will get much greater response than, say, your competitors who are using the image advertising.
Great, so that's covered direct response. What about a sales letter? Is it the same formula for a sales letter, or is it different?
AIDA really permeates through most marketing, and indeed you can even apply it to telemarketing, you can apply it to radio, television advertising, certainly on the web, and most certainly in a sales letter as well. What is it at the end of the day that people are looking for? They're looking for answers to their problem or their challenge that they currently have. And so it is necessary that whatever the medium, that is, web copy, sales letters, ads, or whatever, that you religiously follow the 8-to formula, but you are therefore getting their attention, perhaps with your headline, grabbing their interest by telling them some more benefits about your product, credibility, saying who you are, or giving testimonials in there that are third-party endorsements, in other words, because people are naturally going to think, well, you're going to say all those wonderful things, aren't you? Which is why testimonials are good. Then you're on to desire or detail. So you are building up the interest even further by telling them what it's going to do, how it's going to solve their problem, and making them really want it. And then a call to action, A for action, which tells them how to go about getting it. A coupon, a phone number, a web address, an email, whatever it is. Now this applies very much, to answer your question, to sales letters. People make the mistake, I believe, of approaching sales letters from the point of view that it needs to be very short and sharp. And that sounds logical, doesn't it? But it's not. If you are targeting correctly your sales letter to an audience that you know will have an interest in your product or your service, then you need to tell them as much as is necessary to answer their doubts, their questions, and indeed any other thoughts they might have in relation to them making a decision as to whether to buy from you or not. Therefore, a sales letter should be as long as is needed, and that could be 1 page, but that's very doubtful. It's likely to be 8 pages, 10 pages, 50 pages even, so that it answers all of their questions. If you don't do that, then it's like sending a salesperson out who walks into somebody's business, holds out their hand to shake with them and says, "Dear David," and then proceeds then to almost sound like a letter, and then ends on "yours faithfully" and walks out again. Now you haven't done what you meant to do. Advertising, as another person once famously said, is nothing more than salesmanship in print, and therefore you've got to answer all of their queries. That means that they're then going to be able to make a decision as to whether to go to the next step or to buy from you or whatever it is. Problem is with a short sales letter, or rather the prevailing thinking with writing a short sales letter, is that, well, if we make it too long, people will get bored. Well, I'm afraid the truth is that people will get bored whether it's a long sales letter or a short sales letter if they have no interest in your product or service to begin with. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that if they have an interest in your product or service, to give them everything that they need to know in order to go to the next level or to take the next step that you want. That's why it's so very important to get out of your head about these short copy, single page letters. I say this very firmly. Long copy, that is long sales letters, long web copy, and indeed, good advertisements that tell a lot about the product. Long copy will always outperform short copy because it tells people, the target market, what they really need to know.
So it seems that